All right, welcome back. Talking more RV sales process. And today we're going to be talking about the follow up. Because if we're a salesperson that doesn't know how to follow up with our leads, our potential customers, if we don't have any rhyme or reason why we're following up with our potential leads or customers, then that's going to be a problem. But if you learn how to get really good at the follow up, then it's pretty easy to become a top performer because a similar I don't know, something we keep going back to video and time and time and stream again is that if you want to be a top performer, one of the most important, if not the most important thing, is you have to be talking to the right amount of customers. If you don't put your work in, if you don't have a good work ethic, if you're unable to reach out to as many customers as needed to meet and exceed your sales goals, then I don't care how good you are at closing the deal. And if you're at your RV dealership, chances are that you're not busy 24/7. You might be sitting there, you might be wasting time at the desk. Maybe you don't have any walk-ins coming in today and you didn't have any good leads come in that you feel like you should follow up, so you just sit there and wait, or I don't know what you're doing at the desk, but hopefully what you're doing is following up with customers and trying to set the appointment, right? Because if we can't set the appointment with our customer, we can't close the deal. You have to understand that there's never been an RV sale that has happened without setting an appointment with a customer. Now, what is an appointment? Right? Because, that's a very loose word, I guess. Appointment could just be a meeting where they look at the RV. An appointment can be a quick phone call. So, what is an appointment, right? And what I think an appointment is a when a customer agrees to go through your process, your sales process, when a customer is taken through your sales process, that is an appointment. Right? If you're unable to get them through the sales process, if you're unable to get them to the dealership and get them to walk the RV or whatever the case might be, or maybe we're doing an out of state deal that's mostly over the phone, we can still do that, but we have to make sure we're still able to take our customer through the sales process. And it doesn't change whether it's in person or out of state, right? We can still do a deal out of state. It just is a little bit different, right? We have to do things just a little adjusted, but it can definitely be done there. So, um, we really just have to be able to focus down on, following up with our customers, setting the appointment, which again allows us to take our customer through the sales process. And then once we take our customer through the sales process, if we do a good job, we're going to close the deal because we're going to be adding value to our customer's life. If we don't do a good job, we're probably not going to close the deal. Maybe we didn't ask enough questions. Maybe we didn't go past surface level, whatever the case might be. So, when you have customers, when you have clients, when you have potential, walk in buyers that are looking at RVs and that have, a very good chance of buying, right? Because at the end of the day, one thing that I've always hated was salespeople that said that their leads or the customers that walk into the lot are tire kickers. Like, they're not tire kickers. They are buyers. You just have to, take them through the sales process in the right way to get them to buy, right? Because when you start seeing salespeople who call customers tire kickers, what it tells me or what it makes me think is that they probably don't have that good of a work ethic, right? They don't care about learning their customers' true needs, wants, and desires, because if you're prejudging a customer before you even take them through a sales process or an interview and qualify, I don't know if you're a mind reader or if you have some special ability that most of us humans don't have, but you shouldn't be making decisions for your customer before you walk them through a sales process. That's just a terrible attitude. It's a terrible mindset to have. And chances are, if that's how you think, you're probably not a top performer. Okay. And I'm talking top performer across all RV sales, right? If you're, the best, most paid salesperson at your RV dealership specifically, but not very many good salespeople are at your RV dealership, and you make $70,000 a year. Well, there's RV salespeople that are making 100, 200,000 plus dollars a year in RV sales. So maybe you're a top performer in your dealership, but that doesn't always mean that you're a top performer in your industry, right? So, yes, you can make good money and you can be comfortable, and if that's where you want to be, then nothing wrong with that. But if you want to be a top performer, if you want to be in the top 5% of RV salespeople, then you really need to be following up with the right amount of customers, calling your leads daily, texting your leads, emailing your leads, and just really getting better at the sales process so that you can close the deal and just get better at the deal. Because again, another part of that is how much time are we spending in a deal, right? If we're spending 8 hours in a deal, that means we can close one person every workday. That's not going to get the job done. We got to be able to get quicker at the deal, get better at the deal, be able to add value to our customers' lives. But to be able to do that, we have to know how to follow up with our customer. All right. So one of the best ways, or good ways that I found to reach out and connect with our customer, is you really have to go past 5 times, 5 connects, 5 tries before you'll even speak to a customer. So if you get a customer lead in, the highest probability you have to get them to answer the phone is closer to when the lead is put in. So if the lead is put in at 2 p.m. today, if you call them at 2 p.m. in 30 seconds, you have a very high chance of them answering the phone because they just put the lead in. They're actively thinking about your product or service. If it's the very next day, it's going to be more tough. 2 days, a week later, the more time that passes from the time that we get the lead to the time that we first reach out to them, it's going to be harder for us to connect with that customer. So first thing is once we get a lead, say it's an internet lead, something like that, we want to call them immediately. If it's a phone lead that comes in, or a walk-in lead, we just start the sales process, right? Because they're already calling, we're already speaking with them, we've already connected with them, right? But if it's an internet lead, or a lead that we had last week or last month or 5 months ago that we're following up with, obviously a lot harder to connect with that customer. So we need to give them a phone call first. After we give them that phone call, let's say they don't answer, we need to be leaving a voicemail. Hey, Jim. Hey, John. Hey, Sally, whatever the name is. Hey, it's Chris over here at XYZ, dealership. You were looking at RVs, a month ago or 5 months ago or whatever. Wanted to give you a quick call and see, what needs you have now, so that I can show you some RVs that might meet those needs. When you got 5 minutes, give me a call back. Here's my phone number. Here's the dealership's number, whatever the case is. I'll speak with you soon. So we should be leaving a voicemail every single time we call a customer. We don't want to be that salesperson that calls someone, we hear the voicemail and we hang up. Let's not be a weirdo. That's kind of weird. Maybe it's not weird with our friends, because our friends are our friends. But if you're calling a person for business, you should be leaving them a voicemail every single time you call them. No exceptions. There's no exceptions to the rule. Leave a voicemail. I guess maybe the only time I might say there's an exception is there's been times where I'll call a customer, potential customer, client, 3 times in 1 hour to try to get them answering the phone. If I know that I'm going to be blowing them up like that, maybe I won't leave a voicemail every single time. But that's not going to be to a cell phone. That's going to be to, that's when I was in logistics sales and I was calling business to business, a lot different than business to consumer. But nonetheless, right? So what I'm saying is you need to be leaving a voicemail every single time, letting the customer hear your voice, hear your name, hear your dealership, know where you're calling, why you're calling, information to call you back. You should be leaving your phone number in there so they can call you back, right? Maybe you shoot them over a text, like right after I leave a voicemail. The next thing I do, a lot of the times in RV sales, customers are leaving us their cell phone. So I'm not going to blow up someone's cell phone, though. I'm just going to stop right here and put a little asterisk, caveat, star here. I'm not blowing up text messages with my customers. I'm not going to text them 10 different times with no response. That's how you're going to get you and your dealership in trouble. Okay. One text is fine. Hey, Jim. Hey, Sally. Hey, Sue. Saw you inquired about this RV today on our dealership. What time can you come in to take a look at it? Today at 4, tomorrow at 5, right? Or, if neither of those times work, when's best for you? Let me know, right? Something like that. And then if they don't answer you, we're not just going to keep texting, okay? Because that's a a hard paper trail, if you will. Like, all they have to do is show a judge that you texted them 10 times unsolicited and they didn't answer back, and you might get hit for $2,500 or more for every single one of them texts. Okay, one text is okay because they left you their information, they inquired about your product, so one text is warranted. But if they do not respond, I cannot stress this enough, do not blow up their phone with more and more text messages because it can get you into issues. Okay, so one text, if they start texting you back, now we're good to go. Now you kind of have consent in a sense, right? Now you have permission, rather, because they're actively conversating. But if you just keep spamming them and they don't conversate, stop. Phone calls are okay. It's a little different. I don't know. Can't spam rules, laws, things like that. I don't make them up, but I just don't want you to get in any trouble. All right. So, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make a phone call. Right after that phone call, they don't answer, or maybe they do, I'm going to start the process, sales process. But for this, instance, they're not going to answer. Right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a voicemail. Okay, after I leave a voicemail, I'm going to send them a text. I'm immediately going to send them a text right after my voicemail. Okay, so that they know who called. Hey, this is Chris from XYZ dealership. Saw you looked at this unit. When can you come in today? Today at 5, tomorrow at 4. I don't know. When's the best for you? Let me know. Because we want to set the appointment and we want to be able to show them the RV and run them through the sales process, right? We got to set the appointment. That way we can run them through the sales process. So that's what we're doing. So we text them. They don't answer, right? Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to shoot them an email. Okay. So I'm shooting them an email because this is the thing. You have to understand that every human is different. Some humans like to email. Some like phone calls. Some like text messages. Some like to walk into the dealership and look at it in person, right? And we don't know what people's tendencies are. We don't know how they like to communicate before we start communicating with them. So if they like text messages and all we do is phone call and email, maybe they don't answer the phone or communicate with us. If they like emails and all we do is phone call and text, again, maybe they don't reach out to us. If they like email, or if they like phone calls and all we do is text and email, maybe they don't contact us. Okay, so we have to reach out to our customers on all the different mediums that they're at and let them choose which medium they want to respond to us on. Okay, so phone call, they don't answer. Voicemail, okay, after the voicemail, we're sending a text message. Right after the text message, we're sending an email. And now what we're doing is we're stacking all of them contacts into the first 20 minutes that we reach out to our customer, so that we can get past our 3, 5, 10 contacts we need to make so that we can get our customer to set the appointment. Okay, because we have to set the appointment before we can close a sale. Okay, so we're following up with our customer, we're making a phone call, we're leaving a voicemail, we're shooting a text message, we're sending an email. And then the very next day, or maybe even later that day, I would tell you to call our customer again. Call them twice in a day. Again, leave them another voicemail. Maybe you called them at noon. Now call them at 4. So you called them at noon. You sent them a text at noon. You sent them an email at noon. And now at 4 p.m., we're calling them again to what? Try to set that appointment, right? Because again, we're not closing a deal without setting that appointment. Okay. And this is the kind of follow up we need to have. If they don't answer today, right? We called them at noon, we text them at noon, we email them at noon, we call them at 4, we leave them an email at 4. They have not answered. That's 4 contacts. We still need 5 or 10 more to go before that customer is going to talk to us. But we just made 4 contacts, 4 reach outs in the first day, which is big, big. It's a big deal. Next day, we're going to go right back to it. We're going to call them. Okay. We're going to leave them a voicemail. Now, again, if they didn't text me back, I'm not going to text them again because I don't want to get my dealership or myself in any trouble with any spam laws. Okay. So I'm going to call them. Maybe I email them again. But really, now a lot of my outreach is going to go directly to phone calls. Me personally, I'm a salesperson that loves the phone. I think that the phone is probably the most underused tool across the board for salespeople. And that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out through phone calls. I'm going to call them the next day. I will call that customer every day that week. So let's say the lead came in on Monday at noon. Monday at noon, I call them. I leave them a voicemail. I send them a text message. I send them an email. That all happens at noon. Okay, at 4 p.m. that day before I leave, a few hours actually before I leave, because I want to make sure I still have some time to do something if I do connect with that customer. So I'm going to call them back. I'm going to try to get them to answer. If they don't answer, I'm leaving another, voicemail. The next day I come into work, I'm calling them again. Now, I'm not going to call them at the same time because if they didn't answer at noon yesterday, maybe noon isn't a good time for my customer, right? Maybe 1 p.m. is better, or maybe 11 a.m. is better, or 9 a.m., or something like that. So now I'm going to choose a different time. The next day, I might call them at 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. or 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to figure out what time in the day works best for you. Because if you think about how you work as a person on a daily basis, there are probably times in your day, maybe it's lunchtime per se, where you could answer a phone call and talk to someone. And let's say your lunchtime every day is from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., right? Because you got a weird lunch. Who knows, right? Everybody's got their own schedule. So now, really, the best time for me to call, and I don't know this because as a customer, you don't tell me, hey, call me between 2 and 3, or typically you don't. Sometimes customers will. But if they don't tell me that, then I don't know between 2 and 3 is the best time to call. So yesterday I called at noon and 4, right? You were working, right? You couldn't answer your phone. Today, the next day, I called at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Just so happens the next day I get you on your lunch break. I'm able to have a conversation. I'm able to schedule an appointment so that you go through the sales process and we're rocking and rolling. Right. So now what we would do if we call first day 12 and 4, no one answers, we leave a voicemail, we send a text, we send an email. Before we leave again, we send another, we do another phone call. No one answers, we leave a voicemail. Next day, we're going to call 2 different times again at 2 different times at 2 different times. Right. 2 different times at 2 different times. So we're calling at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. or 9 a.m. and 1 p.m., something like that. They don't answer. We're leaving voicemails, both calls. Next day comes around. We're doing the same thing, 2 different times, 2 different times. Right. So we called noon and 4 the first day. We called 10 and 2 the second day. Third day, we're going to call 9 and 1. Right. They don't answer again. 2 more voicemails. Next day, we're going to call from 9:30 to 5. We're going to call at 9:30 and then we're going to call at 5:30. You see what I'm saying? So I'm staggering the times I'm calling. I'm hoping that I can reach that customer at a time that works for them. Okay. Because it's all about our customers, meeting their needs, adding value to their life. So I'm reaching out, trying to figure out when I can reach them easiest. And I'm continuing to follow up. So you see in 3 days, just in 3 days, you had 4 reach outs on the first, you had 2 on the second, you had 2 on the third. Now we're at 8 times we've tried to contact our customer, our potential customer or client in just the first 3 days that we got the lead. And we're going to do that for the whole first week that we get the lead. Okay. Phone call, voicemail, text, email, phone call. And then I'm even going to send some more emails after the fact, right? So you see, you can get very aggressive in your follow-up. But it should be phone call, voicemail, text message, email, phone call, email, phone call, phone call, email, phone call, phone call, email, phone call, all different times, trying to figure out when we can get our customer to go through a walkthrough or to set an appointment and to go through the sales process. Okay. But we need to be doing that day in and day out. And while we're at our dealerships, as we get those internet leads in, as we have leads that walked in the past and didn't buy, or called in the past and didn't buy, or internet leads that we got in the past that didn't buy, we have got to make sure while we're at our dealership, our main focus is following up with these customers, doing this kind of follow up: phone call, text, email, phone call, text, email, with 10, 15, 20, 50 different people every single day we are at our dealerships. If you do that kind of activity, you will be a top performer. Most of the time, people who are good at sales and aren't top performers, it's because they don't have the work ethic. They're not able to speak with enough customers to actually meet and exceed their sales goals. It's not easy. It's definitely not easy, but it can be done as long as you stay focused and you have the work ethic and you understand that talking to customers is the most important thing in sales. It's not being better at closing, it's being better at talking to more customers. I can't stress that enough. If your dealership or your business needs to speak with more customers, that's what my agency does. So give us a call, or give me a call directly, 330-703-3930. Again, 330-703-3930. Give me a call directly. I'd love to get your dealership or business more customers. That way your sales team can be having more conversations. That way you can close more deals and meet and exceed your sales goals as not only individual salespeople, but also as businesses and dealerships. So if you're a dealership or business that needs more customer leads, give me a call directly, 330-703-3930. Again, 330-703-3930. If you need sales training for your sales team, whether it be for RV dealerships or for other businesses, you can also give me a call, 330-703-3930. I'd love to help you out in, in-person training. We can do virtual training. You can also get access to our virtual training program from our website, sellmorelivemore.net. The website is in the description. You can go to that, sellmorelivemore.net. You'll get access to the Sell More, Live More sales training video and audio program. So there's about, I want to say, over 40 different videos, over, I want to say, 3 or 4 hours of content in there that walks you through the sales process, how to learn your customers' emotions, and how to get the deal closed. To get access that program, it's only $9.97 a month, or it's $97 for the whole program. So it's very inexpensive. I'm not sure how long we'll have that price going. So if you're an individual salesperson, or if you want access to that program, go to sellmorelivemore.net, sign up for the program, and start getting better at your sales process. You can also grab the book, Sell More, Live More Sales Training. You can get it at Amazon. You can get it at Barnes and Nobles. The link, again, is in the description here. So go to that description. Go to Amazon. Go to Barnes and Nobles. You can only get it online. You can't get it in store yet there at Barnes and Noble. So go online, type in Sell More, Live More Sales Training by the one and only Chris Paulino, and then go ahead, get yourself a copy of that. And that book will help you, again, just dial in your sales training, get better at the deal so that you can close more deals and create more happy customers. So we're going to be talking about RV sales process and the sales process in general all year long. So make sure you connect with me on LinkedIn. Make sure you like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Infinite Media Resources. And that way you can just, be a part of our live streams. If you're a salesperson that wants to do a live role play with me, I'd love to get you scheduled in and do a live role play with you on LinkedIn. We've done a couple of them here in the past. They're a lot of fun, and they can help you get your sales process dialed in. One of the best things I think to get better at the deal is live role playing, because it allows you to overcome objections more in real time. That way, when you hear them from your customers, it's not as startling to you, right? So if you want to do a live role play with me, I'd love to get you on a live role play. Message me on LinkedIn. Give me a call, 330-703-3930. Let's get you locked in for a live role play, and we'll just kind of go from there. So again, if you're an RV dealership or business that needs more customer leads or sales training, give me a call now. Let's talk about it. 330-703-3930. Otherwise, I appreciate everybody that has been here for the RV sales process. We're going to be talking about RV sales process all year long, and I have tons of videos that have, that are already up that I've talked about, different, areas in the sales process and things you can work in. So go to my LinkedIn, check those out, and let me know what you think. So again, thanks for being here. I'll see you on the next one.